Hello, I was writing the script for my traditional end of the year recap video, but I received a parcel that required me to postpone the writing of the script and postpone that video, basically because I've got a strong candidate to get into this list of my subjective preferences in this year. And I'm talking about the FiiO's third flagship model, it's FD5. You probably know that FiiO have two models, two flagship models. It's pure hybrid FH7 and balanced armature, actually pure balanced armature and hybrid. So put the word pure in the wrong place. And pure balanced armature FA9. I reviewed them both, so really good models with different sound concept. But now they decided to release third flagship model, and that model is FD5. As you can understand by the name of this model, it's a single dynamic driver. They utilized some complex dynamic driver with beryllium coated ADLC diaphragm. So you can see that new fancy materials made their way into in-ear monitors world. But to justify the price is about $320, they decided to make a really premium package and presentation, few interesting ideas with accessory set, and of course they've implemented a great sound tuning. It's semi-open model, and they used acoustic lens in front of the driver and some resonator on the back side of the driver. They wanted to target the Harman's reference curve, and they managed to achieve it pretty nicely. And combined with really technical dynamic drivers, that gave a really nice result. So let's have a closer look. As you can see, package is stylish, nice looking, unusual in terms of dimensions. It's extended in width, not traditional book-like orientation. Inside of outer wrap, made of nice cardboard with good polygraphy, there is inner box. It's double layered. Here you will get warranty card, quick reference card, and short manual with basic information. Let me put it. I won't put it back here. And two layers of everything. Additional box with accessories. Nice stylish case. I will unpack everything and free table from the unnecessary parts of package. Also you will get big set of tips, so balanced ear tips, form, bass, vocal, and also double flange tips to be used with narrow bores. So they have replaceable bore systems, and that's also interesting idea. So here is the case, nice materials, really pleasant to touch. Opens this way and you can store earphones here safely. You can see that there is a special section. Let me turn it some way to be visible on the video. Special section to put earpieces inside, so they won't be damaged or scratched in the case. And accessory set, also really interesting. Let me zoom in a little bit. So, brush for cleaning, it's not that interesting. Replaceable spouts, narrower ones. They provide different fit, and also they are more focusing the sound, giving more low frequencies. Replaceable connectors, so you can use the same cable with both Pentacon and 2.5mm balanced plugs. I will show it later. And also nice feature that I think next year will make its way to accessory set of many brands. It's basically MMCX connectors remover. So if you ever had some difficulties in removing the connectors, you can just use it and easily in one click disconnect it. So nice, no scratches, no damage, really good feature. And here are earpieces themselves. They are made of stainless steel. Shape is faceplates are unusual. You can see the interesting details, grooves, and inside of these grooves there is a that mesh that covers the dynamic driver, allowing this model to be semi-open. On the inner side there is also pressure relief hole and unscrewable filter, so you can unscrew it and replace with the second narrower one. And by the FiiO idea, narrower spout should be used with double flange tips, providing better isolation and more secure fit. Actually, in terms of wearing comfort, they are nice. You can see that small nice details like red and blue coding of channels here. So blue is for left, of course red is for right, and they are really comfortable. Edges are smooth and everything is done on a really good level with a lot of attention to details. Sound isolation is about average, but it will be enough for noisy street or for public transport, but of course in subway or on the plane you will need to use something with better passive sound isolation. Nice, good, reliable connectors, and actually the premium feel of stainless steel. It looks really nice and feels also nice. Replaceable cable is traditionally good. FiiO have a nice lineup of cables. It's average in terms of softness, but thanks to ear hooks, microphone noise won't be an issue. It's almost not getting hard when it's cold outside. Nice, well braided, good looking wire. It goes to the splitter, and after splitter goes way down to the jack. And here you can unscrew it, disconnect, and replace this part, having all connection types you'll need. You can get single-ended, you can get pentagon and balanced, and then just connect it back and screw it. Interesting idea, looks pretty reliable, and I'm pretty sure that it will be that in near future we will see that idea implemented in FiiO's cable lineup, in other earphones. So replaceable jacks will be next big thing, or maybe not that big, but next good feature we will get. So to summarize everything, accessory set is close to maximum. Attention to details is great, build quality is stunning, package is nice, so FiiO really did everything to suit that $300 price, a bit above $300, and give you as much everything as possible. And of course about the sound, I gave them about 60 hours of burn-in, and there were some changes in the sound during first 30 hours. So they require a burn-in. Changes are not drastic, but treble became better controlled and bit better extended, so basically treble became better. And let's try different approach this time. I will summarize this sound and will try to make a short description of the sound and then extended one with examples and other stuff. So basically if you skip to the sound part, you will get what you came for. It's really technical, really detailed, and really resolving dynamic drivers with big bass. Not huge, but definitely big, and with extended and accented treble. It's a pretty pleasant experience, at least to my ears, but keep in mind that if you're sensitive to the treble, probably this model needs to be listened before buying. And now let's go back to the regular review style. I need to warn you that I really like this model. Subjectively it fits my tastes, and that's why I'm trying to avoid some over powerful metaphors and sayings, so I will try to avoid them, but it would be not easy for me because I like them. You know, resolving, neutral and a bit bright dynamic drivers is my weak point that I really like. I was a fan of Dunus Falcon, and I like NF Audio NM2, so this model also hitting my preference spot. Let's have some player on the table. It would be more logical to use FiiO M15, for example, but I wanted to use the best dub that I have to show the full potential of these earpieces, because it's really interesting and really nice experience. It's a single dynamic driver, meaning that it's 100% coherent, no frequency bands overlap, no crossover impact, just pure single dynamic driver. And dynamic driver means that it can pump good amounts of air, but also it's a fast and resolving dynamic driver, so it's a bit dry and bit focused on the micro details, but it's a really good thing here because you will get a lot of details, but also a lot of other stuff. But let's go back. So bass is accented, accent is noticeable, it's pleasant, it has nice power, it has impact, it has weight, and all that other stuff is present. It's rumbling, it's shaking, and it's really powerful. And that's with the stock nozzle. With bass accented spout you can get even more low frequencies, and they can be probably considered as a bass head in your monitors. At least, you know, I'm not a bass head, so I don't know what bass heads feels. Okay, I'm kidding. And maybe for someone it will be not enough, but for me with that bass spout it's more than I like. And with this regular spout it's just what I prefer. Bass is technical, it has good resolution, a bit on the dry side of things, but that means great texturing and tons of small nuances, so a bit of audiophilic experience, not a traditional dynamic driver, low frequencies. Really good with acoustic instruments, with double bass, trumpets and all other stuff. But it's also really good with electronic music. You will get a lot of meat, you will get a lot of raw power. And actually let's go to the examples. So as we're speaking about the power, so it's diesel power, the Prodigy, and really rumbling, mighty low frequencies shaking your eardrums. And with bass heavy nozzles you can get even more of that. But also treble is also accented and compensating these low frequencies with all that cymbal samples that this track have. And second example, it's Wardruna, Iwar, not sure how to pronounce these rune names, but it's a great example of Scandinavian folk arranged in modern manner, so sounding really engaging. And this track has a lot of different drums and background noises, you know, all that tribal foundation for the track. And this earphones delivers that with good presence and might. Mids is a bit recessed in terms of frequency response, but that's another example when, thanks to the good resolution, mids not sounding shadowed by bass, and they show really good detalization. It's not balanced armature-like, but it's close, it's shifted towards the micro contrast, shifted towards the micro detalization, and they are pretty critical for the quality of record, and that gives you tons of details and focus on them, but also you will need better records, you will need something well mastered and so on. They're not trying to highlight macrodynamics, but emotions they represent really nicely with a good sense of presence. Vocals have a good body, but only if they are recorded this way. So if record is lacking body on vocals or some weight for the instruments, that means that they not add that and they can sound thin. But it's not because of earphones, just because of record. Imaginary stage is noticeably above average probably because of semi-open design, giving you great airness, great spaciousness, and a lot of that 3D stuff that many will like. And two examples for the mid frequencies. First one is to show the speed and resolution and control of these earphones. It's Annihilator. If you don't know this band, but you like classical heavy metal, Annihilator is a really good band. Basically it's a thrash metal, but it's kind of not progressive, it's technical thrash metal. Some genres are progressive, but thrash metal is too old to be called progressive, so that at that times it called technical. And of course interesting riffs, but my precious Lunatic Asylum is just insanely fast and engaging, and with fast drums, fast bass guitar line, and of course crazy fast guitar. And this earphones represent this track really nicely with all that nuances and all necessary accents. And wake up, samurai. Second example, it's Jesus Christ Superstar original cast and famous track Everything's Alright. Great female vocal, nice instrumental part, and thanks to the crispness and clean sound of these earphones, it's sounding really engaging, charming and beautiful. And treble, here it's accented and it's a bit on the aggressive side of tuning. Actually, it's not, I can't say that they have big treble spike, because in terms of frequency response it's not that big, but it's fast, and that gives, you know, a bit of aggressive representation of treble. I like it because it gives you, you know, it's a dynamic drivers, but thanks to the detalization they close to balanced armatures, and at the same time they have proper attacks and decays, not lightweight as balanced armatures usually have. It's just dynamic drivers playing close to balanced armatures and giving nice sense of realism. But also they have a slightly above average extension, meaning that they are also critical for the treble record quality. But with good records they will give you a lot of nuances, lot of details, lot of that small things like tiny decays and all the details of room where track was recorded, and that gives you the good treble gives you all the details. And also layering is good, not perfect, but pretty good, especially for this price range, and they sounding natural. But once again I will highlight that if you're sensitive to the treble, this model could be not your choice, because treble here is not trying to soften, not trying to hide it. So I will repeat this many times. With the burn-in, they treble became better controlled. With second set of tubes and with selecting proper tips, you can tweak them to sound more bassy and with less treble, but still it's basically model for those who like high frequencies, and like I do. And first example for the treble, it's Audiophile's World Greatest Vocal Recordings Part 3, and that I don't remember is it Part 4 or not, and it's Priya Darshini Priya Darshini. I hope I did pronounce that correctly. And track Home, nice intro, good instruments, and of course it's recorded really well. As usual for Chesky Records, nice vocal with a lot of overtones, and all that stuff requires good treble, and this model gives that. And second example, not audiophiliac record, but that track that everyone likes, and that's David's Bowie, Space Oddity, and guitar really clean and crisp here, and some percussions, a lot of stuff that have high-pitched overtones, and this model delivers them nicely. So to summarize once again the sound, it's dynamic drivers, it's fast dynamic drivers, focused on the micro contrast with a lot of details, critical to the record, but thanks to these technical capabilities and accented bass and treble, it's sounding also fun. In terms of pairing, it depends on what you want to achieve. Either you'd like to get their sound as is, and in this case you can pair it with Shenlink, with FiiO M11 Pro, and with high-end apps like Asylum Kern's Ultima. Or if you'd like to change the sound a little bit, FiiO's M15 with its additional weight could change their sound, making it a bit warmer. But you know, I'm not a fan of trying to correct the sound of earphones with the source. Basically, I think that it's better to change the earphones if they don't fit your taste. And speaking about the conversions, it's a pretty hard task, because once again it's models that sounding like no others. And basically, you know, NF Audio NM2, it's for example, it's the dynamic drivers that I reviewed recently. They are neutral, they have less accented low frequencies, they have less accented treble, so basically more monitoring representation. But this one sounding more resolving and a bit more natural with richer treble, but of course they cost 2 times higher too. Another model that probably will be compared with this one, it's KB-Ear Believe. Also big difference in price, but sound is totally different. Believe uses beryllium dynamic driver, but it's warmer, it's weightier, with more relaxed treble, so basically different. You know, actually, if you heard FD1, you can get the idea of the sound of this model, because it's like, you know, FD1 on steroids, like take FD1 and makes everything better. More natural, better controlled, with more engaging sound and so on. So basically, like, you can consider FD1 as a tester version of the FD5. I don't know what other models I can use for comparisons. You know, not much sense in comparing them with models based on the price tier, like Tin P2. They have less extended treble and actually bit even less rich treble comparing to this one, for example. Despite being planar magnetic and this one is a dynamic driver, it's the case where driver's difference doesn't matter. Compare that with IMR that I really like, also not much sense, because it's a different sound just because of single dynamic drivers. So I won't try to recall some other models, because FD5 is standing out. And sooner we'll have more reviews, and there will be love or hate relationship, because many treble sensitive people won't like them. Other people who like technical dynamic drivers like I do will like them, but I must admit one thing, that FiiO did a lot of job in creating this model, and I really wish that they succeed, because I like them, and I hope that FiiO will keep this momentum next year and will get more and more new great products. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and have a nice day. Postscriptum. I decided to add a bit of impressions with this small spout, Bassy spout, and 3 flange tips, and also not 3 flange tips to the review, because I did more listening with them, and it's a really, different experience with more accent on low frequencies, overall warmer sound and less treble, so that shifts the sound towards the warmer dynamic drivers. They won't become totally warm, but definitely more weight on mids, more weight on bass, and deeper bass, a bit slower. Actually, they became a bit slower in general representation, but it's like you will get 2-in-1 sound with them. And also, if you will get them, also try to test them with not this triple flange tips, but something like spin fit for narrow boards, for example. If I remember right, it's 4mm, so with some tips for the 4mm spouts, it will give you like a more linear signature, but still with additional weight. A bit less bass than with this triple flange tips, but still also less treble. Basically, it's interesting experience, and you will get another sound signature in same earphones, so I thought that it's also worth mentioning. And once again, thank you for listening and have a nice day.